For more on all of this, let's bring in South Carolina Congressman Russell Fry, member of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees. New evidence, new testimony out this week regarding the president and his son, Congressman. Do you think that this investigation is reaching something of a tipping point?
I think so. I think that from the very beginning, it was a wide net that was cast, so to speak. Obviously, the American people wanted Republicans to have oversight into this administration, and we've done that. And I think the focus now is kind of two lanes. One on oversight is into Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and these transactions that are happening overseas. And at least from the Judiciary Committee, where I also serve, it seems to be this double standard of justice, where you have, as the IRS whistleblowers talked about this week, where you have steps that are being taken that seem to protect the Biden family. So I think that the tipping point is coming, and I think that the more light that we shine on this, the clearer it is, not only for the Congress, but the American people. They see the troubling conduct from this family, and they're right to be concerned about it. And we're doing more in 5 months than these law enforcement agencies have done in 5 years. Joseph Ziegler is the newest IRS whistleblower to come forward and talk about the case and the difficulties, the roadblocks that he and his partners had to come up against. Here's a little bit of what he had to say on Special Report.
I don't want to see other agents, FBI, IRS, go through the same thing we went through. We need to have an independent attorney assigned who has authority, who can go in there, bring the proper charges so that there can be some faith restored in our justice system.
Based on what Mr. Ziegler and Mr. Shapley had to say, the Justice Department, led by Merrick Garland, have really slow-walked the Hunter Biden investigation and perhaps any connection to his father, the president.
I think they have. I mean, they've let felonies expire, particularly felonies that would have arisen in 2014 and 15 when the Burisma stuff was really going. And so one of the line of questioning that both I and Chairman Jim Jordan had to these whistleblowers this week was about the conduct of U.S. Attorney Weiss and Merrick Garland. There is a very wide gulf between what they are saying to the Congress and to the American people. And so if Weiss didn't, I mean, we're either looking at the most incompetent U.S. attorney that has ever done his job or not done his job, or it's the biggest cover-up. And I think on both of those, there is deep concern amongst the Congress that who's really calling the shots here? You really need, if you're taking charges to Washington, D.C. to file against Hunter, or to the Central District of California where the other charges were, and you're being blockaded, Merrick Garland has said repeatedly that U.S. Attorney Weiss would have unfettered ability to bring whatever charges he wanted to, but that isn't the case. And so I'm very thankful to these brave whistleblowers who came forward, because they're highlighting, the frustration that they had and that the American people have.
According to Ziegler, Hunter Biden earned about $8 million from Burisma and others during that period we're talking about, and paid no taxes on it, and also had that gun charge, which would, potentially get most of us, if we were to do the same thing, 10 years in prison. But he's got this sweetheart sentencing deal coming up that is going to convict him, if he agrees to it, of a couple of misdemeanor charges. The gun charge apparently goes away. Do you think that with all of this new evidence coming out, that the judge might be moved to reject the plea agreement?
Well, I hope so. I mean, given the testimony that's been made public, the transcripts that have been made public, the FD 1023 that has now been made public, I hope that the judge looks at this very seriously, because, according to the transcripts of Mr. Shapley, I mean, I think there might have been a dozen felonies and misdemeanors that could have been charged, much more than what he is receiving now. So I think we need to take a second look at this, and I hope that the judge does that in the coming week.
How convinced are you that this reaches the Oval Office, that the president had his hand out for some of these payoffs?
Well, I mean, the FD 1023 is alarming, because it says very clearly that they paid $5 million to Hunter and $5 million to Joe, and that it would take years because of the way that they paid these payments out. It never went directly to Joe's bank account, at least according to this document. And so that's why it's important to continue to investigate, to talk to people who know what's going on, to get bank records and to hone in on this. Because look, let the facts dictate where we go. That's the most crucial part of this. But it is alarming that this has been out there, that this has been there for so long, that the federal agencies tasked with investigating this never did. And it wasn't until it became public that all of a sudden that they now want to take any interest in it. So I think it's alarming, one, the allegations themselves, but two, really what is going on within our government to cover for this family.
Yeah, the tax years of 2014 and 2015, the government simply let the statute of limitations run out on those potential charges. Congressman Russell Fry, we thank you.